Hello and welcome to another live episode of the Leveraging AI podcast, the podcast that shares practical, ethical ways to leverage AI to improve efficiency, grow your business, and advance your career. This is Isar Beitis, your host, and we have an amazing show for you today. And I'm going to say something that will sound maybe counterintuitive in the beginning, but once I'll explain, you'll understand. We cover every single week a very practical way use case of AI, like how to do business strategy, data analytics, sales lead nurturing, creating presentations, identifying your ICP, creating marketing content, and so on and so forth. Many amazing AI use cases. And we do all of those in search of business efficiencies, right? That's the whole point. Like, how do we get more time? How do we do things better and faster? But the reality is that this is not what we do in our day to day. Some of us do, but on the day to day, we all do email. We all do look for documents and try to make sense out of them, either documents that we have in our drives or documents that get sent to us. We all create Excel files and spreadsheets and so on. So on our day to day, a lot of the stuff that we do is our business day to day. And we've never talked in this show before about how you actually use AI to get amazing efficiencies in the day-to-day stuff, the stuff that you literally just do regardless of your position, your industry, your expertise. We all do these things. We all write emails, we all search for documents, we all do spreadsheets, we do all of these things. The reality is today, with Copilot in Microsoft and Gemini in Google, you can do amazing stuff that is going to save you a lot of time. Now, to help us through that process, we have today with us Nancy Bain. Nancy, if you missed her previous episode, first of all, she has been the co-founder and the CEO of Supernova Media HQ. So for the past 15 years, she's been a solopreneur. And as such, she developed every single system, process, and method to save time. And she's literally a time and efficiency guru. I've never met anybody that is so good at her as finding little systems and processes to save her personal time and obviously her clients' time in the same process. And she's going to share with us today exactly how you can do what I said, how you can save time and get more efficiencies on the stuff that we all spend a lot of time on every single day. At the end, we have a little bonus thing. So don't leave us before the end. We have something really cool to share with you. But with that, I want to thank all of you for joining us live, whether you're with us on LinkedIn or whether you're with us here on the Zoom. If you are interested in asking questions, just write them in the chat. Feel free right now to introduce yourself, say where you are, where you're from, give people your LinkedIn profile so they can find you and connect with you. And with that, I'm very excited to welcome Nancy Bain to the show. Nancy, welcome to Leveraging AI.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. And I chuckled, Izar, when you were listing the really creative use cases for AI. When I first started using ChatGPT, it was about a year and a half ago, and I spent probably the first 3 months training ChatGPT to sound like me. And I've since discovered that it's absolutely the weakest use case. I want to I want to free up my time so that I can write like me. I don't want AI to write like me. I want to write like me. And I want to stay within my zone of genius. And so for me, that meant streamlining the mundane and routine tasks that were sucking the energy out of my life and eating up my time. And so I did a bit of research because I was curious how many other professionals were in my situation where admin was their biggest time suck, and how much time were people actually spending on admin. And I learned that for the average professional, they are spending 28% of their time each day managing their email. And I
Wow.
could absolutely identify and relate with that. Further, studies show that an additional 20% of your day is spent looking for files. So there's half your day gone. And for solopreneurs, if you're anything like me, you get up and you start your day, you've got your to-do list, and so many things, or so often rather, things get pushed to tomorrow. So you're lying in bed at night and you're thinking about all of the tasks that you didn't accomplish and you've pushed to tomorrow. And so getting a handle on your admin will give you more time to stay in your lane, stay in your zone of genius, and cross more things off your list. I've been a Google Workspace user my entire career. That's before some of you were born. And having Gemini built into the apps that I use every day is an absolute game changer. And humans say game changer too, okay? But not just AI. Like it's a game changer. And I don't care that it's a commonly used AI term. They got it from me, and I've been using it for a long time when I get really excited. So Gemini, and I think that I write a lot about Gemini and the integration into Google Workspace. And I think that there's a common misconception because often people compare it, Gemini, the standalone app, to ChatGPT, and they just feel that it doesn't measure up. And I'm the first one to agree. As a standalone app for completing the tasks that you mentioned at the beginning of the show, for creative uses, I use ChatGPT. For admin automation, I use Gemini. So I honestly, I can't live without either at this point. And I use them in tandem. So I think most people actually aren't getting that Gemini lives within the Google Workspace apps. So you don't go to the Gemini, google.gemini.com link. You go to your Gmail and you activate Gemini within your Gmail. And it's okay.
I just want to pause you for
Yeah.
1 second. For those of you who are listening or watching or are with us live, like whatever, however you're consuming this content, for the people in the Microsoft universe, you have the same exact thing in the Microsoft world with Microsoft Copilot, where you can go to Copilot, which used to be Bing, which used to be whatever they had it before, but now there's like a Copilot website and a Copilot app that you can run. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Copilot within the Microsoft Office tools, whether it's Excel or Outlook and so on, and Word. And so the beauty of these tools, they're custom tailored to the specific application they're running in. So you cannot use Copilot or Gemini, Google Sheets, or Excel to write you your next blog post. It's just not going to work, but it will do some really cool stuff within the environment that it's in. And from everything Nancy showed me, and we're going to share with you all of those use cases in a minute, you will see that if you learn to use those, it becomes an extension of that tool. It actually becomes, to an extent, your interface to that tool. So instead of using the tool the way we used to use it, you use it through the Copilot or the Gemini interface, which gives you superpowers within the tool itself, which I find absolutely amazing. And again, to be completely honest, I've tested it a little bit. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I never actually played with it until Nancy showed me the stuff that she's doing. And now I'm telling you, I'm going to do the same. And you will probably do the same, whether it's on Copilot or on Gemini.
So how about if I share my screen?
Yeah, let's jump right in. And for those of you who are just listening,
yeah.
we're going to explain everything that's on the screen, so you're not going to miss anything.
Okay, and I'll be sure to do that. because I'm excited to show you my BFF. Okay, so this is Gemini, the standalone app. Okay, gemini.google.com/app. And from the conversations that I've been having on LinkedIn, what I can gather is that most people are coming here to use Gemini or to try Gemini. And I think this is why they're feeling underwhelmed. However, you can supercharge, another AI term, your Gemini experience here by enabling extensions. And you do that via the admin panel. So what I mean by that is now I'm in this standalone app and I can use the @ symbol here. One second here, is my keyboard working? Yeah, I can use the @ symbol here to call my Gmail, to call Google Docs, to call Google Drive. It can, while I'm in the standalone app, it can search and reference my Gmail files, it can search and reference my docs, and it can search and reference my Drive. That's huge because, as I mentioned earlier, if you're 20% of the average professional's time is spent searching for files, well, now you can have Gemini take care of that for you by enabling the extension within the app. But I rarely go here in favor of the side panel where Gemini is integrated within my apps. Let's go over and have a look at my inbox here. And I got so many windows going on here. Okay, so there we go. Now it's at the bottom and I can see better. So here's my inbox. Don't be nosy and scan what my correspondence is. That's not what this is about. And here's how you enable and disable Gemini with this icon up here. You're going to note that there are some, I gotta move that again. There are some pre-formatted prompts here. You can just click the button here and have Gemini scan your unread emails. I usually say, show my unread email. I'll click that prompt. Show my unread emails from this week and list action items. I generally don't like to have it work while we're on the show because sometimes it takes a little while. But that is a way to leverage the pre-formatted task prompts that are already there. You can see that it has referenced 6 source files. And you can have a look at each of those source files if you want to. You can click this button and it will insert it into an email. I think you'll see that soon you'll be able to insert this within a task, and this will be great for collaboration. It'll come. We're using this insert button. I'll have a choice where I can insert it into a task and then tag one of the team. You can
For those of you just listening to the podcast, just a few things about what we're talking about. So on the top right corner of every Google tool, and by the way, same thing in the Microsoft universe, just with a different icon, you will find the Gemini icon, which looks like a ninja star or something. I don't exactly know how to describe it. But it looks like a little star. It's in the top right corner of your bar. And if you click on that, it opens a bar, like a whole section on the right of the screen where you can type a prompt. One of the default prompts that shows in there is show me my unread emails. But what Nancy added is show me my unread emails who has action items. And it literally listed a bullet point list of the action items coming from different emails. And then it's showing her underneath that the links of the email. So you can click instead of searching through your entire inbox. And if you're like me, you have, 7,000 emails in your inbox or more. And then with one sentence, it finds you everything from the past week, from the past month, from whatever you want that has action items in it listed, and you can see the actual emails and jump to them without having to search for them. To me, that's pure magic. And the other button that Nancy mentioned is that the bottom of it, next to where the prompt is, there's a few buttons that you have. One of them is a copy if you want to copy the information, but the other is an arrow pointing left, which is basically pointing back to your inbox. And if you click on that, it opens a new email copying the action items or copying whatever the outcome was from what's on the menu. And you'll see in other examples that's extremely useful because with one click, you can get a response, a reply, a email out that's going out for somebody, and so on, without having to search and summarize and things like that.
Thank you for celebrating that all over again, because it's just like the sexiest thing you've ever seen? I'm telling you. So again, you can click here to insert. You can click here to copy and take it to a doc, and you can retry with Google search. So you also have search capabilities within your Gmail. It's absolutely brilliant. And there you can have it search your drive files, and Isara is going to show you that example. But I just want to show you a couple of other ways that I've been embracing digital minimalism and keeping my distractions to a minimum. I
want to pause you just for 1 second before you continue, Nancy. There's a question from Shannon on LinkedIn. She's asking if you're paying extra for these features.
Yep. The Google Workspace is costing $15.80 a month. And then I have the Gemini add-on, which is $20 a month. So these capabilities and tools are under $40 a month. It's some of the best money that I spent. I pay my subscription annually and I get excited about it. It's some of the money that I just don't, it's like my Canva subscription. I don't mind paying that. I feel good every time I pay that $100 because it's my top 5 tools.
Yeah,
for
listen,
under $40.
I think it's having a personal assistant for $20 a month.
Absolutely.
Right? A very
Absolutely.
solid, consistent, always there, 24/7 personal assistant for $20 a month. It's a no-brainer.
Exactly. That's how I feel. So back to digital minimalism and maintaining your focus. What I'm loving that Google is doing now, and this isn't necessarily a Gemini feature, is that if you note here, as I hover over some of these emails, I get an automatic opportunity to unsubscribe. I signed up for so many newsletters. I've been in business again since before some of you were born, and I've been signing up to newsletters since then. And so it was time to call some of these subscriptions that were no longer serving me. And if you've noticed, don't judge me, where's the scary number? 17,955 emails in there. Now, again, not judge me. My research tells me that the average professional, and I felt like I was in good company, and I guess I'm the average professional because 17,000 is an average number for professionals to have inside of their inbox. Back to digital minimalism. Again, I'm totally digging the unsubscribe feature. However, there are some newsletters that I just absolutely can't live without. And I see what I did there. I had already put Gemini to work on this email previously, and it remembered it. So I used the 3 dots at the top to clear the history. For my newsletters that I absolutely can't live without, I use the summarize email, and I don't say a more detailed, I say provide a brief, thank you very much, bullet point summary, okay? And then it will help me stay informed for all the latest and greatest and for my newsletters. And so I absolutely love it for that. Now,
so again, quick recap. Those of you who don't know the unsubscribe button, it's obviously a AI feature in the back end that just shows on the subject line in Google. And it literally, if you hover over it, if it knows it's a newsletter, it will give you an unsubscribe button right on the subject line. You can click on that, and then you have to open and look for the unsubscribe link and click on that and fill out why you want to, like all of that goes away. You literally click on one button, it goes away. But the flip side was, here's a long email. By the way, it doesn't have to be a newsletter, just a long email from somebody. And in the side, you say, summarize this for me in bullet points. And instead of reading 10 paragraphs, you have 3 bullet points of the important things from that email. And then you can decide whether you want to read the details or not, whether it's a newsletter or a long email from somebody. It just magically summarizes it for you within your email environment, right? You don't have to go anywhere else.
And so then you can take that and insert it into a Gmail. And I'm looking forward to the time when you can insert it into a task and tag your team. You can insert it into a doc and easily save it to your drive that you can have Gemini reference later. And it's just beautiful. So that is, I want you to show them the example that you had saved, Isar, where you had asked it to provide a summary of all correspondence with a particular person, and also have it reference relevant drive files. Now that's huge, because so it's gone through all past correspondence here. And it has also, it's down in the sources, you'll see at the bottom of the response there from Gemini, you'll see that there are 3 sources. So it has referenced a drive file. You could click that to open it if you wanted to. And it has referenced 2 emails there. So again, at the bottom, you can click that little funny left arrow button to insert that into an email. That would be a great way to follow up with Clay and bring him up to speed, or re-engage him, bring him up to speed where you folks had left off. Easily copy that to a document to save to your drive. And again, you can bring Google search into the equation with the little magnifying icon. Is it brilliant?
True interesting story about this very particular use case. And I got to jump in, and I apologize for stopping you, because this is so brilliant. Because the 3 things that this references is 2 emails and a proposal that I've written. The reality is I haven't sent this person that proposal. There's no email showing that proposal. I shared the file with him from Google Drive, because it's a joint proposal we both written together for a joint client of ours. So it's not, if I would have searched for this proposal in the regular search button, in the regular search bar on top of Gmail, it wouldn't have found it. And I know that because I met him yesterday at the gym, and he asked me, okay, where's the proposal we were working on? I said, I sent it to you. He said, nothing in my inbox. I'm like, that can't be. I know I sent it. And then I went here and looked for me where I sent it, and it's not there. And I'm like, how can that be? I remember sending this to you. And what I didn't remember is that I shared it with him. I didn't send it to him. And that doesn't show in your inbox. By the way, that's one of the biggest bugs in the Google environment, that when you share a document with somebody and you write them a note, it doesn't show us as a sent item in Gmail, which it should, because it's actually sending them something on your behalf. But I'm putting that gripe aside for a second. But the fact that this finds it in 5 seconds, so a quick summary of everything we talked about across different emails, plus it finds the document that I shared with him that doesn't appear anywhere in Gmail, is absolutely magical, because now I can open it and see it and reference it and do whatever I want to do, and all the things that Nancy said. It's an extremely powerful feature.
I have a hot tip for you.
Let's go.
Let me have the screen. Yeah, let me have the screen back here.
I'll stop sharing.
I'm going to solve a pain point for you right now. See this little button?
We still don't see your screen, so no.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just too excited. Share, desktop, share. Now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. See this button right here?
Yes.
This is called Mail Track, and it's free. Okay.
So it's an extension.
It's free. Yep. It's free within Google. And if you install this, it will let you know when somebody's read that note to your shared file.
Ooh,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
So what is it called for the
Yeah,
listeners who are not watching this?
it's called Mail Track, and I love
Mail
it
Track. So those
because,
of you again who are just
yeah,
listening, it's an extension that she installed that then appears next to the Gemini logo on the top right bar. And then you can click on that and it will tell you probably who opened and read every email, including the
it
shared stuff
does.
from the back end. Okay,
That's
very
right.
cool.
That's right. Yeah, you're welcome. I know. I'm just here solving problems. Okay, so yeah, I feel like we've given a good overview of the capabilities within Gmail,
Gmail. Yep.
leveraging Gemini. Let's go have a look at Sheets. Okay, if you're anything like me, bookkeeping, spreadsheets as a solopreneur, this is one of the tasks that I procrastinate. It's my, as a solopreneur, you wear a whole bunch of hats. My finance hat fits the worst. I learned a thing or two about how to wrangle data last year, and I'm leveraging Python now to gain insights into my data that I wasn't able to see before. But it was just a year and a half ago that if you said Excel to me, my eyes would roll back in my head. And within Sheets, you are able to create this sheet I created with a prompt. Okay. So, what this is a CRM example. I did a poll on my LinkedIn last week or the week before, and I was asking solopreneurs what CRM they were using. And a good half of them weren't using a CRM. And I wasn't surprised by this. There's a lot of bootstrapped solopreneurs out there, and subscriptions for things can get quite expensive, and not to mention the learning curve involved. For many years, I was managing my CRM within Google Sheets, and it is a very effective, cost efficient way to do that because you're already paying for the tools. It's a labor intensive, certainly before Gemini came around and you could prompt the format and the template. But in fairness, this spreadsheet looks pretty robust. And it is. And although I'm not a fan of copy and paste prompts, I do. Is my desktop gone? No. Although I'm not a fan of copy and paste prompts, I did go to my ChatGPT desktop app, which is always running, and I usually push my microphone button. I talk to ChatGPT more than I talk to anybody else in my life. And I had ChatGPT help me draft the prompt for this spreadsheet. It looks something like this. Create a CRM spreadsheet to manage my client interactions and sales pipeline. Include columns for email, phone number, last date contacted, deal value, all the good stuff. So this is what is possible with.
But by the way, for those of you again who are just listening to this, it's a really beautiful version of an Excel file with colorful drop-down menu and color coding and all the stuff that you have in a CRM that was created magically by this prompt. All the columns, all the drop-downs, all the aggregations and filtering capabilities, including notes for each client, including last date contacted, including all of that was created by this prompt that Nancy didn't create because ChatGPT created the prompt based on Nancy's request. And so it's really amazing how you can use different tools together to create something that is really useful on the day-to-day. I do have, though, a question for you. Do you manually feed
Sure.
this thing, or you found a way to connect this to Gmail or other Google tools?
So how do I keep my updated? I
Yes.
can't see you. I can't see you anymore, by the way. I've pushed something that has. There you
Stop
are.
sharing the
Okay.
screen, and then I think you'll be able to find me.
Okay, I can stop sharing the screen. I found you. You're back.
Okay, good. I
So
promise you I'm still here.
so that's another level of automation. Okay. And there are two ways to accomplish that, and one is more simplified than the other. The first is using Zapier. So I have a bunch of automations set up in my inbox. If when something happens, that it triggers an automation with Zapier. But a more simple way to manage that is using if this then that
Yeah.
tool, IFTT. And I'm going to write a tutorial about that. It's half built right now on how I'm using if this then that to do exactly this, to keep my CRM up to date. So you can look forward to that. But that is next level automation. But don't be afraid. Zapier can be a bit of the learning curve. If this then that, so much more simple. And so I encourage you, even in advance of seeing a tutorial from me, to go check out. So here's the spreadsheet. Again, we can insert that, we can copy it, we can ask it to regenerate. You know that this regenerate option wasn't there in Gmail. I really want them to put that there. I sent them a note, and I don't think they've got it yet, but they're quite busy over there. So you can ask it to regenerate here, and you can also, again, have it search the web.
Quick question from the chat on Zoom. The drop-down menus that you have. So you have three drop-down menus in your CRM. One is lead source, the other is status, and the third is sell pipeline stage. The question is, did you ask in the prompt to create it, or it did it on its own?
So here's the prompt. Let's back here and give you the opportunity to read the prompt. Create a CRM spreadsheet to manage client interactions and sales pipeline. Include columns for client name, email, phone number, company, lead source, status, last contacted date, next follow-up date, deal value, sales pipeline stage, notes. Now, again, this is the beauty of working with ChatGPT to create this prompt, because I know I'd have thought of half of them. Okay, maybe a third. And so that's why I encourage you to, and again, I love voice for that. I just go over to my ChatGPT desktop app and I click the microphone icon and I just ramble exactly the way that I'm rambling to you right now. And it's able to make sense of it all. If you're able to articulate, and I'm confident that you are, with your voice, ChatGPT will help you create these prompts for your sheets. That's sheets.
So to answer the question, it created the drop-down menus on its own.
It did. Yeah. Actually, because you'll notice here under sales pipeline, it says close, negotiation, and initial contact. And I've asked for that initial contact, negotiation closed and won. Okay. So again, that's ChatGPT's work.
But what I'm saying is you did not define it to create it as a drop-down menu. It thought about that on its own.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
You just told it what options should be in there.
Exactly. Now, as an example, in getting ready for this show today, I was putting in the most simplified prompts that I could think of. And for this exercise, I said, create a CRM to help me manage my contacts. And you know what? It looked so close to this, it wasn't even funny. Really, your prompts don't need to be as robust as the one that we copied and pasted from ChatGPT. I really encourage you to play around with it. Enter a simple prompt and maybe you're satisfied with that. Oh, there's one more thing that's missing from Gemini in all of my apps, and I want to speak to it. I want a microphone button right there so that I can speak to it, and then I will be one happy clam in Nova Scotia. So that is Gemini and Sheets. Love it, love it, love it. You turn it on and off the same way. You activate the side panel by clicking on the glowing diamond sign. There is symbol up in the menu portion of your app.
So
So,
I want to zoom out for a second just because I don't want to leave the
sure.
Microsoft people out. One of the cool things that didn't happen yet in Google Sheets, but literally happened this last week on Microsoft Excel. So I've been using different large language models in Google Sheets and in Excel for a while by writing code. And again, I'm not writing code, but ChatGPT and Claude wrote the code for me to bring large language model in to write Python code to do more sophisticated data analysis within these tools. And you could also do it by just dragging files into ChatGPT and prompting it, and it will know how to write the code. Microsoft Copilot now built this in to Excel. So now in Excel, you can highlight a section, run Microsoft Copilot, and ask it to do some very sophisticated analysis, and it will write Python code to do the data analysis for you within Excel without having to do the little tricks that I did before of that is a little more sophisticated and advanced of writing code and knowing how to bring it in and so on. So these tools, even though they're pretty good right now, are getting better literally every couple of weeks. There's something new that they're adding. And I'm not telling you to switch from Microsoft to Google or the other way around. Stay wherever you are. Just stay updated with the things they're coming out with. And you've seen from Nancy what she's doing. She's just subscribed to their blog on everything they're releasing on Google Gemini. So she knows exactly when it's coming out, and she summarizes the blog so she knows if it's relevant to her or not. And then if it is, she's gonna test it out. So it's on both these platforms, these things are going to get better and more integrated into the tools and more integrated into the entire ecosystem. So one of the things you can do here, like on Google right now, that is not possible on Microsoft yet, is what we just did in the example that we shared my screen, where it found a file on Google Drive that is related to the person I'm talking to on Gmail. That doesn't exist in Copilot yet. But in the end, all of this is going to be integrated. Like you'll be able to ask, okay, find me all this information about this client, and you will know how to find it on Microsoft Teams or on Google Meet or wherever you are, whatever universe you're in, you will know how to connect the dots from all the different components and applications within that ecosystem and give you very accurate information and probably most likely report back on the relevant communication channel, right? So if you're chatting with somebody on Google, whatever they call their chatting thing, I never remember. And or you,
Chat.
yes, chat. Yeah, it makes sense. Google Chat. So if you start chatting with somebody on Google Chat and you were looking for the information, it will allow you to respond on Google Chat. Same
Yeah.
thing in the Microsoft environment, send somebody a Teams message on this and that channel based on the information I found on SharePoint and Outlook. So all of these things will get better and better integrated as time goes by. And a lot of the guesswork that Nancy mentioned in the beginning of like people spend 20, 30, 40% of the time doing that, like finding the email, finding the attachment, finding the document, reading the attachment that they got to see who they need to send this, like all of that will happen almost automatically.
And the Gemini is intuitive. So the more that I use it, especially within Gmail, the more it understands how I communicate. So when I ask it to suggest a reply, it has improved over time. There's very little editing on my part because it's come to understand my style. And that is an absolute time saver in and of itself.
Absolutely.
So,
Before
want to
you
see
jump to
another
the next
one?
thing, there's a question, a very important question from Elsa
Okay.
on Zoom, and she's asking, how do we handle data security as
I love that
as in if
question.
this information is sensitive, like customer pricing, product specs, da 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 da. How do you deal with that?
Yeah. And Google has enterprise grade subscription. You are absolutely golden. You don't have a thing to worry about. None and absolutely zero of your chats or anything that you enter into GPT or Gemini is used to train the model. Okay. And within ChatGPT, you need a team subscription for that. I've got a team subscription to ChatGPT, so I am able to confidently upload proprietary and sensitive data and know that it isn't going to be leaked anywhere and isn't being used to train their model. But that is inherent in Gemini and in your Google Workspace subscription. And just for the record, this is all dummy information right here. I just wanted you to be aware that like my deals are like the numbers are way bigger.
So quick to answer this in a quick way, you already trust
Yeah.
Microsoft with your data inside of Excel and Outlook and SharePoint, and you already trust Google with your data on Google Docs and Google Drive and Google Sheets and so on. And this is just an overlay on top of that. So the data stays within
Right.
your container, your universe. It doesn't go anywhere else. And that's part of the promise that they provide you by when you sign up for these services. So it's very different than copying this data into a third-party tool. And that's probably going to be one of their biggest strengths moving forward, is the fact that it's fully integrated into an environment where your data lives and you already trust it. As far as the ChatGPT thing, I'll just small correction. You can have the regular ChatGPT Pro version, so the paid version of ChatGPT, not the Teams one, and send them a message. There's like a process on how you can do that, requesting not to train on your data, and then you get a confirmation email that they're not training on your data. So you don't have to pay
You
the
get a
extra whatever.
confirmation email.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's a new. I knew you could disable it in settings, but
No, so there's
apparently,
an
and by
actual link
default,
in there somewhere, and I've done this months
smart.
ago, but you can literally go in and sign and request it, and you get a confirmation that they're not training on your data. Then
Yeah, well, that's good.
presumably they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here we have it. That was Sheets, and I am going to take you over to this one now. And again, for the purpose of today and to be efficient, I asked ChatGPT to help me brainstorm an example prompt. And this example prompt says, draft a blog post about the benefits of automation for solopreneurs. Please include an introduction, 3 main benefits, and they've listed them: increased efficiency, cost savings, and improved work-life balance, and a conclusion. Use web search to find current statistics and trends related to small business automation in 2024 and include them in the post with citations. And this is the result that.
So again, while we're waiting, Nancy was using ChatGPT to create the detailed prompt, and then she opened Gemini in Google Docs, and just again that panel on the right side, and just pasted this prompt that ChatGPT created, and she got a response. So now you can continue from here.
And so I went to ChatGPT to get that prompt. I could have used Gemini to get that prompt, and they also have a microphone button there. But ChatGPT has 3,000 characters worth of saved information about me, and I find that I get far more relevant reply. I feel like ChatGPT knows me. I chuckle at that. Okay, so here is the output that came from the prompt asking it to create a blog post, and it has cited sources. And again, you can insert that into a doc. You can retry, you can preview it, and then you can also retry with Google search. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 icons available underneath the generated response text from Gemini. And you notice that this is a new one. We didn't see this preview button in Gmail. We did not see this preview button in Sheets. So the other thing I wanted to point out that I haven't yet is there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down button. Please use these, is especially if it isn't good. Because we need to signal Google and the LLM when it's not what we were looking for, and it's as simple as a click. And just consider that you're helping train the model to work better for you in the long term. So here you have it. It has generated a blog post. I've got some other automations that I can do here as well. There's an external tool where you can, from Docs, you can automatically post it to your WordPress blog with a simple click, and other tools where you can take this doc and publish on lots of different platforms with a simple click. So yeah, that is Gemini and Docs. We access it the same way that we were with the other tools, up in the menu section, and you can expand the replies so you get a bigger view, less scrolling. And again, this button, I'm using it to clear the history, but you can also have more suggestions using those three little dots at the top of the response. And again, Gemini provides some questions that you can ask based on the content that it's provided. It has offered what are some specific examples of tasks that solopreneurs can automate. That's a great addition. If I were to click that, it would list specific tasks that can be automated, and then I could also include those in the blog. And then when you say show more suggestions, there are even more suggestions to enhance the content. And this is great for brainstorming and iterating, because my prompt from ChatGPT was really quite simple and vague, and Gemini's picked up on that and is offering opportunities to enhance your content. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen, because I will tell you that Gemini also lives in Google Meet, and you're able to transcribe your videos in, I think it's up to 80 different languages now. It does provide transcripts, so that's eliminating the need for those third-party apps that I love. I'm still using Fireflies. I just love Fireflies. It's a great free AI note-taking app that I invite with me on all of my meetings. And Gemini also lives within Slides. So here, these are your tools that are available to you in Google Workspace. And if you notice, I shared a tutorial about this yesterday. I'll just move this out of the way. No, that's not how. This little thing is bugging me. I want to something with it. There we go. So to access your Google tools, once you open up Google and you're logged in to Google, it's this little menu item right here. And this is where you access your tools. You'll note I've created little shortcuts down here, because I was having to click to open up Google, click to open up the tool, and then click to open up Gmail. That was about 3 too many clicks for me. And so I've added them down here on my dock. And if you're a Windows user, you can add those to your desktop to access them quickly. And
by the way,
finally,
I'm even lazier than you. I have them as pinned tabs on one of my Chrome windows that I never ever close. So the 7 or 8 things that I use every single day, including my Gmail and all the different large language models. So there's like 6 or 7 of them, and they're all in the top left corner, always there when I go to that window. It's always the leftmost window on my swipes on my Mac. So like I literally can go and they're always there. They're always open. They don't need to refresh. Like once every now and a while, they kick me out and I got to log in again. But other than that, I never let them go to sleep.
Same. I've got a similar setup for my most commonly visited sites.
So let me do a quick recap.
Sure.
The biggest difference between using the generalized tools, whether it's Gemini or ChatGPT and so on, compared to using them within the different apps, is that they're integrated into the app. And the more time will pass, the better integrated they're going to be into the entire ecosystem. And we gave a few examples in Gmail and how you can use it to find conversations with a person. But that was possible before. But to find conversations with action items across multiple people was never available. It was available if you have an assistant that does it for you manually. So now it's available with one single prompt. Looking through that and related documents was never available. So there's a lot of cool functionality that now is available to you with a click of a button on a right panel inside of your existing tools that you use every single day. So the suggestion that Nancy made, which is the most important one, click on that button, open that menu, and start thinking about it as an assistant. What is it that you're trying to do? And try it. Just literally write the prompt. The other thing that they did that I think that is really cool, I wish they had more, is they're giving you ideas. There's a few bubbles there with, okay, click on this. Do you want to find whatever? And it will click on that and will start the prompt for you. So you can start with that, but I think over time, think like Nancy, like, how can this save me time in the thing that I want to do now? And once you know what it is, once you figure it out once, you can do it 17 times a day, which is going to save you more and more time. We looked at Google Sheets and how this can create an amazing app within Google Sheets, in this particular case, a CRM that was created with one prompt. And so there's amazing things that you can do with these tools within the application you're using anyway. Nancy, this was absolutely amazing. If people, as always, I knew exactly how this is going to be. So I was expecting exactly that from you, and you over-delivered despite the fact I had high expectations. If people want to follow you, work with you, learn from you, you mentioned a few of these tutorials that you're sharing. What are the best ways to do that?
If you like free, I share daily tips on LinkedIn. If you are a DIYer and you're looking for a library, a comprehensive library, I spent a year and a half mastering ChatGPT, and I've got a comprehensive library over on Gumroad on every feature, including how to build your own AI using the OpenAI playground. So some beginner level stuff and some advanced stuff. And you can visit my blog.ca. I don't get AI to write my blogs for me, even though we used it for an example over there. And yeah, so I love to write and share what I learn on a daily basis. So path of least resistance is likely LinkedIn. You can stalk me from afar.
Nancy, thank you so much. I want to also thank all the people that were with us on LinkedIn. There's a full house on Zoom here. So a few of the regulars are here. I see Stan and I see Stefan Weigel and I see Curtis are here, but also a bunch of new people, Josh and Irvin. Ron joined us this time, Samantha. So thank you all for joining us on Zoom, but also all the people who joined us on LinkedIn Live. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the questions, and I appreciate the participation in the chat. That was fantastic to be able to see you guys engage with each other and sharing ideas and responding to what we're saying. So this has been absolutely great. So thanks, everybody, and thank you so much, Nancy. We'll see everybody again next week.
Thanks, Cesar.
Bye, everyone.